Hello everyone. Today is Thursday, January 9th, 2025. Today, I will fill wisdom into our minds, which are the life elements of us all, so that we can permanently escape suffering and live together peacefully on this earth, creating world peace. I have created a tape discussing the mind or essence of life to help us understand what we already have. When we can access our mind and life force, realizing that we are extremely pure, bright and clear elements, the primordial element that existed before all things, once we reach this incomparably pure element, we will shed tears. We will understand why we could be so foolish. Since birth until this age, why has no one taught us this? We will shed tears, and feelings will arise just as I've described. When I discovered the truth that we are extremely pure elements, it merged completely with the entire universe. It's like when we reach this understanding, it's as if we've returned home. We've come to know the truth that nothing is truly us. We used to think this body was our body, right? But once we access this pure life element, tears fall as if we've been deceived, as if we've been dreaming. Nothing truly exists as a self. Nothing is real at all. It's like we've been watching a movie or drama for a long time. We understood ourselves to be the hero sometimes, the heroine, the supporting character, the friend of the hero and heroine. We understood ourselves to be part of the drama, like we're sleeping and wearing a VR headset on our face. Once we put on the VR set, then we watch. Whatever we want to know, whatever we want to do, we can do it all in this world of imagination. We've been in this world of imagination for a long time, just lying there like this. Lying there, and then suddenly waking up, opening our eyes, we see everything in this world of imagination, this world of new technology that is VR. Whatever we want, we think and get exactly that. Having a body, living life, eating, having experiences from childhood to growth, we really are this character. We believe we really are this character, and we live life just like normal people. But we're lying in bed. We're in a VR projection device. But it can create realistic images of everything, and we've become absorbed in everything that appears in this virtual world until we've forgotten that we're lying in bed. We believe everything is real, exists for real. We're truly absorbed in everything. One day, there was someone who played like this too. Suppose everyone in this world is in a virtual reality, in a world of VR devices that create virtual images. And whatever they want to do, they can do everything, just like the real world. From childhood to adulthood, having life experiences throughout, having dates, months, years, having names and surnames, having bodies, experiencing pain, joy, sadness, having emotions, sounds, images, feelings, perceptions, perceiving everything completely. It's all like reality. There's nothing indicating it's not real. Can you imagine? We understand it as reality. Then one day, someone learned the truth. They awakened to the truth and removed this virtual reality mask. They realized they were lying down, with this device on their head, wearing a VR headset, a virtual reality projector. They had been lying here for many years, until they believed they were truly these stories. Then one day they suddenly woke up. They realized something was strange. Strange in the way that our body, when we're old, sick, about to die, there's a question asking, where are we? When we die, where do we go? A feeling arose that this surely couldn't be our true self. This body isn't really our body. All these stories surely aren't real stories. So they suddenly woke up, bang, and realized they were lying down. All the stories were from a device covering their face. We were lost in a virtual world, but it wasn't real. When they woke up like this, they cried tears and wanted to tell everyone in this world that we're stuck in virtual reality. So they went back into the virtual reality again, because everyone else was still in the virtual reality completely. Can you imagine? How to tell everyone to wake up? They had to wear the same outfit, had to put on the VR mask to enter the virtual world, enter the same body as before, and then walked around telling everyone in the virtual world. Everyone, everything we see, the life we're living, this body, it's not our body. Nothing is truly us at all. If this body were truly our body, we should be able to tell it not to age, can we? We can't, right? Can we tell it not to get sick? We can't. Can we tell it not to die? We can't. We shouldn't suffer about anything because everything in this virtual world doesn't truly exist as a self. We're not really involved with this world at all. It's time to wake up. This is virtual reality. It's not real. Because if it were truly our body, we should be able to tell the body, don't age, don't get sick, don't die, right? Do you know where we go when this body dies? We'll get a new body again, could be the body of an aquatic animal, land animal, winged animal, or even become human again. We will go into a new body and start proceeding as before again. We have awakened now. We have awakened from this virtual world. We have seen the truth that none of this is truly us. Time to wake up, everyone. Try observing. This body stays with us only briefly before it disintegrates. These speaking sounds are just language for communication in the virtual world. Mental images are tools for communication in the virtual world. Emotions are conditions for communication in this virtual world. Even the sensations of perception right now, hearing sounds, smelling, tasting, see? It hears, it perceives by itself. No need to intentionally perceive, it perceives on its own. Nothing is us or belongs to us. Observe carefully and wake up. It turns out that the person who warned others tried telling everyone, but no one believed them because everyone believed it was all real. Can we understand this? They truly suffer. Some say they suffer greatly. They're truly sad. They suffer so much. Their lover left them. So, we tell them that no one really leaves anyone. This is virtual reality. We're playing these drama roles. Nothing in this world is truly us. This is a virtual world. Wake up, but they keep suffering like that. Suffering and crying. They cry because someone left them. They cry because they have no money. They cry because they lost their house and car. They cry because of heartbreak. They cry because their boss scolded them. They cry because no one loves them. We tell them not to suffer from these conditions. Don't suffer from anything. We weren't born to suffer from anything in this virtual world. This virtual world is just as it is. It was created for us to live life, and we got stuck in the virtual world, understanding it as truly us. Do you know that when this body disintegrates and dies, our life element doesn't die? It's not involved with anything in this virtual world. Time to wake up. One person started observing along. Oh, really? And started gradually observing along. If it's not us, then where are we? Whose voice is speaking? Who is this speaking voice? The awakened person says that this speaking voice is nature speaking by itself. It's not us. It's nature. It's a tool that when we have a body, it can speak, think, imagine, have emotions, perceive. These conditions are tools that come with this body. When there's a body, it can perceive everything, think, imagine, have emotions. These things are tools for use in this virtual world. Observe carefully, see how it thinks by itself. You can see it thinking by itself. Observe carefully, stay inside to observe the awakened speech within. Notice the voice speaking in your mind. It speaks by itself, thinks by itself. Can you see? It imagines by itself. Can you see it has emotions by itself? And they disappear on their own. Happy emotions appear and disappear. Suffering emotions arise and disappear. Emotions follow thoughts. When things go as thought or imagined, satisfied emotions arise. When things don't go as thought or imagined, dissatisfied emotions arise. But whether emotions are satisfied or dissatisfied, they're conditions of this virtual world, for use in the virtual world. Right now. Perceiving this sound, observe how it hears by itself. It smells by itself. It perceives through ears, nose, tongue, body. It perceives by itself. Can you see? Try moving your eyes from left to right. See? It just knows. It knows without stories. It knows quietly, see? There's no spoken language. But this voice is what says this is a house, this is a window, this is a wall, this is a car, this is a tree, this is the sky. This voice speaks. See how this voice speaks? This voice creates all stories, and we flow along absorbed in this voice. We believe we speak. It's not us. This is virtual reality. This body isn't our body. It's virtual reality. Try looking at arms and legs. Do they say they're arms and legs? Do they say their left leg, right leg? Do they say their left hand, right hand? Look and see. Try opening and closing your hand. There's only feeling. See how it feels by itself. Can you tell it not to feel? Can you? It feels by itself. It doesn't say it's left hand, right? Who speaks? It's this voice that we think and speak with constantly, using language to communicate in this virtual world. But do you know that when this body dies, our life element will find a new body, and it starts all over again? Understand? We've been stuck in this virtual reality for so very long. Time to wake up. When one person listens and contemplates along, suddenly awakening. Bang. Yes, it's really true. It thinks by itself, imagines by itself, has emotions, knows by itself. And they suddenly wake up. As soon as they wake up, they begin to become aware. They begin to remove the mask from their face. They open their eyes to see everything. We've been here for so long, until we forgot this is our home. And tears flow, crying. How long have we been lost in virtual reality? Looking at the time, wow, we've been in this virtual reality for over 50 years, until we became absorbed and believed everything in the virtual reality completely. Just waking up like this brings tears, crying. We've been deceived. Actually, no one deceived anyone. We were absorbed in all the stories we're watching in virtual reality. We were absorbed in it, living in there until forgetting what our true home is, forgetting that we are life elements. Tears flow, moved by this knowledge. How to tell those who are stuck in virtual reality? Trying to tell them, but they don't believe because it all seems completely real. Those who go into virtual reality believe it's real, like when we enter a dream world. While in the dream, no one comes to tell us it's a dream. Wake up. There isn't any. Everything feels completely real and serious, understand? That's exactly how we are today. Why am I explaining this to you all? For you to try proving it simply. This body doesn't last long, right? This body doesn't last long. Soon this body will disintegrate, right? If this body disintegrates, where are we? If tomorrow this body dies, or in 1 minute this body dies. If right now we stop breathing right now, suddenly go into shock, bang, and knock out completely, this body dies. Do you know one nature never dies? Our life element doesn't die with it. Our life element will float away to find a new body, getting bodies of aquatic animals, land animals, underground animals, winged animals, mostly getting animal bodies. To get a human body is extremely difficult. It's not easy at all. When we get animal bodies, we start the same cycle again. We start finding food, rushing to eat, rushing to sleep, waking up to find food, then sleep, and hiding in fear of being eaten, being harmed, rushing to eat others, eating everything in our path, even each other. As animals, as aquatic animals, they eat everything in their path, right? Sometimes eating others, sometimes being eaten, right? Land animals and flying animals are the same, eating each other, right? When they come to eat us, do we hate them? Do we suffer? Do we feel pain? Do we feel vengeful? When we eat them, it's the same. Every day we've changed bodies, countless millions of bodies until today. Since the very beginning, when the Big Bang first occurred, we were the original pure empty elements that were nature before the universe. In the beginning there was only purity. That place was empty, there was nothing at all. There wasn't even darkness or light. It was just clear, and we were the life element there. We were clear, pure elements without form. When there was an explosion from this clear elemental substance, this is the origin element. We are the origin element that is one with the entire universe. We, at this origin element substance, had an explosion bursting from that point. We call it the Big Bang. Then energy emerged and dust particles formed from there. That energy induced rotation with violent energy creating dust particles, and these dust particles consisted of energy rotating around themselves, like magnetic field poles. They induced attraction to each other, combined together, rotated around themselves, and induced electrical wave energy, magnetic field waves, gravitational waves, inducing attraction to rotate around themselves again, becoming suns, becoming stars rotating around suns, becoming galaxies, becoming universe. When this first began to occur, bang, our life elements began to split from there as well and began attaching to the matter of those stars. After that celestial matter began cooling, our life elements began attaching to that celestial matter. And those tiny pieces of matter, those dust particles, began to have life, becoming 1-cell, 2-cell, 3-cell animals and eating each other. Eating back and forth, eating everything in their path, eating each other to sustain their bodies. We are formless life elements, remember this well. Then we began inhabiting vessels, and these vessels began to have life, began to move, began eating each other to sustain their own bodies. That's why we eat each other. Eating back and forth, harboring anger, hatred, and vengeance against each other, existing like this, involved with each other. Being involved with each other, when bodies are eaten and die, we get new bodies. We're born to eat them back, for revenge, because once they're eaten by us, bang, their body disintegrates, their life element begins seeking a new body, growing up to eat us back, eating back and forth, destroying back and forth, hating back and forth. The evolution of bodies expanded species until becoming large and small animals, appearances according to what that star would create, climate and terrain would create forms, until finally we came to be born on this star called Earth. Think about it. How many bodies have we changed through? Infinity. Uncountable. And now we have human bodies, but we're the same. Born to eat and sleep, eat each other, destroy each other, harbor anger, hatred and vengeance. That's why we suffer. Born and suffering because we believe it's us, it's ours, even though nothing is us. We are life elements. From that era until today, no one has told us or taught us. Since we were born, no parents or teachers in this world have told us, "Dear children, we are all mind and life elements. This body is a vessel we temporarily inhabit. This voice is a tool for communication in this world. Mental images, emotions, conditions are tools for communication in this world. Nothing belongs to us. We are life elements. If we want to know how it's not ours, observe within. Observe this speaking voice. See how it speaks by itself, thinks by itself. Whenever you see that it thinks by itself, that's when our life element will loosen from its delusive attachment. It will loosen because right now our life element is attached to this body, attached to this voice, attached to mental images, emotions, the knowing condition. We believe. We speak. We've already believed it. Like we've entered a virtual reality world of VR. Putting a device over our face, we become absorbed in everything in this device, believing we are this or that character, having names and surnames. Do we know that life elements have no gender? Because imagine life elements with no form, very pure and clear, no form, no language, no conditions at all in it. Clear like this, pure like this. This nature has no gender, but we believe we are men or women. This nature has never been human, never been animal, has no form. Understand what no form means. But we believe we have form. We are human. Do you know that mind or life element has no name or surname? But we believe we have names and surnames. We believe this body is our body. Wait a moment. This body will soon disintegrate. Soon it will die. Bodies don't last long, but we cling to it as our body, trying to prevent this body from dying. Suppose we get hit by a car, bang. When we first regain consciousness, say we're in treatment for 5 days. When we first regain consciousness, we're happy we didn't die, right? But when we start opening our eyes and try to move our arms, why can't we move our arms? Why can't we move our legs? Feeling strange. So we try looking down. Why don't we have legs? Where did our arms go? Why is there only torso with things wrapped all around? When we see this, how do we feel? We cry. We believed it was our body, right? And now where have our arms and legs gone? And crying. Crying for what? We've lost what we understood to be ours, right? Even though the empty, pure, clear life element never had a body. We never had bodies. But we just came to inhabit bodies to learn about life elements. We didn't come to inhabit this body just to find food and sleep, wake up to find food and sleep, and finally grow old, get sick, and die. We weren't born just to be lost in this delusion. We've changed bodies countless millions and millions and millions of times. We're born to age, eat, and die. Born to age, eat, die like this. We just come to find food, troubled with eating and dying, eating and dying. It's time to exit from this world of self, world of illusion, this virtual world. I must speak like this so that you all can bring this knowledge to understand the life element. We are born to know our own life element. We weren't born to be lost in finding food, working from dawn to dusk just for one plate of rice. Struggling for paper we call money. We created paper and called it money and became slaves to money. We weren't born to be slaves to money, weren't born to be elements bound by this world's framework. We weren't born to be lost in the framework of finding food and sustenance. We weren't born to be imprisoned in this body. But we were born to inhabit this body to realize that we are extremely pure, clear life elements. This nature exists beyond happiness, beyond suffering, beyond everything, beyond cause and effect, beyond spoken language. The life element is not related to the body. The life element is not related to this speaking voice. The life element is not related to mental images. The life element is not related to any emotions. The life element is not related to the current knowing condition. The life element is empty, pure clarity, that is the primary element, the origin element, the immortal element, the element without time right here. Do you know that in our life element, it's extremely clear and pure? In it, there's no coming or going. In it, there's no occupying space, it merges with everything. In this pure element, there's no darkness or light, there's no good or bad, there's no human, no animal, nothing. There's only pure purity, extreme purity. It's the immortal element. There's no time in it. There's no distance. It's a nature just waiting to awaken, waiting to be discovered. We are this pure element. Let me use the word we. We have a deep feeling inside that, what do we really want? We are always seeking something. The life element can't speak, but only uses feeling. The life element has nothing. In it, there's clarity and purity. It wants to know what it itself is. It's a deep feeling in all of us since birth. We must learn everything, but we don't know why we learn, that is, we want to know what we really are. The life element wants to know how it is a pure element. Because we have no form, we cannot know ourselves. When we cannot know what we are, we must come to inhabit bodies, inhabit this voice that thinks, that we think with. We come to inhabit bodies, inhabit thoughts, inhabit mental images, inhabit emotions of satisfaction and dissatisfaction, inhabit perceptions, inhabit these tools, inhabit memory, inhabit these things to learn against the current, to know that we are extremely clear, extremely pure life elements. When we're born, there's a feeling of wanting to learn, but we haven't gotten the answer yet because we've learned through countless bodies. We've been aquatic animal bodies. In the world of aquatic animals, we were taught only to find food, eat and hide, then eat and hide, then they come to eat us. We were taught to find food to sustain the body. As land animals, we were taught to find food to sustain the body. As underground animals, we were taught to find food to sustain the body. As winged animals, we were taught to find food to sustain the body, until we became human and were taught to find food to sustain the body. Look at us. Our life element never dies, never becomes anything. Notice how it doesn't matter which body dies? We've lost countless bodies because it was never anyone's body, right? And our life element inhabits bodies. We find food again, and then the body gets eaten and dies, or sometimes reaches its end, disintegrates for whatever reason, dies in accidents. Our immortal life element goes to find a new body again. When will the life element stop seeking bodies, stop being born? When will it stop being born? This is the point. Can you understand this? Whoever contemplates this and gets it, yes. We weren't born just for this. What exactly is the life element like? And contemplating against the current to know inside, knowing that if we've listened to what I've said here completely, now let's try to understand back according to reality. This body surely isn't us. This body exists because of this speaking voice. Have you noticed that from when we started speaking until now, from when we were children until now, we've relied on this voice all along? Since I started speaking half an hour ago, this voice has been speaking constantly, right? Every time I speak, images appear, emotions appear. Notice. Notice how it's just voice communicating constantly. And this voice says, this is left leg, right leg. Look at the legs and see if they speak. This voice says, this is our left leg. This voice speaks, but this thing doesn't speak, see? This voice says, these are our left and right arms. See how this voice speaks? But this thing doesn't say it belongs to anyone. This thing isn't anyone's body. But this voice is what keeps telling and teaching the mind to believe it. If we just observe that, everything exists because we think. When we think this is our car, this voice speaks. Try looking at that thing doesn't say what it is, right? Try looking at a tree, the tree doesn't say what it is. This voice is what says what kind of tree it is. That's a papaya tree. This voice speaks. But that thing doesn't speak. Who can see this? This voice says, we are children. This voice speaks. This voice says we are parents. This voice speaks. This voice assigns values of good and bad. This voice speaks. This is right, that is wrong. This voice speaks. But various things exist as they are. They don't say anything. Can you understand this point? For us to return to our pure element, we must be awakened within. How to awaken? Awaken to know inside that, who is this speaking voice? This voice that's speaking, thinking in the mind, speaking in the mind, who is speaking? See this speaking voice? Sometimes we're cooking and it thinks, pick up the kids at noon. Better take them up country. Do you see the voice speaking in the mind? While cooking it, thinks in the mind. Better call the teacher, take the child up country. Do you see this kind of speaking? See? If you can see that this thought speaking in the mind, it thinks by itself, speaks by itself, then where are we? Mental images that imagine. If we can see that what's imagining here imagines by itself, it's not us. Oh, if it's not us imagining, then what's thinking here isn't us thinking either. Then where are we? And emotions. Suppose a happy emotion arises. Oh, happy, mother won the lottery. Mother called to say she won the lottery, child. So, we're happy. How much, mother? Mother says she won 10 tickets. Oh, wow, mother. I'll come see you right now. We get an excited, happy emotion. It thinks inside, wow, mother won 10 tickets. Do you see this emotion? Do you see this speaking voice? If you see this emotion rippling as excitement, as happiness arising like this that mother won the lottery, we see this emotion appearing by itself. No one owns this emotion. Can't be grasped, right? Voice can't be grasped, has no form. Mental images can't be grasped, have no form. Emotions have no form. And this emotion disappears. A moment later, there's a phone call saying, Father slipped and fell. slipped and fell, now in the hospital. We get a sad emotion. Why did father slip and fall? We get an annoyed emotion, an emotion of not wanting to do anything, wanting to go home already, don't want anything anymore. It suffers, feeling arises of, oh, suffering so much. Did father fall? Is father all right? Do you see this emotion? Do you see this emotion? Suddenly it arises because we hear sounds and think. When we think, emotion arises immediately, having satisfied and dissatisfied emotions immediately, and these emotions disappear. Can we see emotions appearing by themselves, following what it thinks and imagines? Its nature functioning simultaneously. Every time we think, there will be images too, and emotions will follow. They work together. These tools help the mind, which is the life element, to awaken. See this point. See the thoughts that think. See the mental images that imagine. See the emotions that appear. See these conditions as nature, not us. It thinks, imagines, has emotions by itself, and dissolves by itself. The knowing condition hearing sound right now, observe how it hears by itself. No need to intentionally hear, it hears by itself. It smells by itself, sees by itself, tastes by itself, feels by itself. Can you notice that these knowing conditions know by themselves? This hearing sounds by itself, can you see? If we just observe inside, observe that my voice is impacting our minds right now. Our mind or life element has no form. Look carefully. The sound impacting our minds right now is perceived around our solar plexus. It knows this sound. Observe carefully. It knows constantly. When there's no sound, it's empty by itself. When there's sound, it perceives naturally by itself. Try looking at the knowing condition right now. Where is the knowing condition? The knowing condition has no form, but it knows by its nature. When there's no sound impacting it, it's empty there. That emptiness, without stories, without anything there. Does it need to be created? It already exists by itself, right? When sound impacts, it perceives by itself, then dissolves back to original emptiness without anything. When sound impacts again, it perceives anew, then dissolves back to original emptiness without anything. See how nothing is us? See how the knowing condition knows by itself and dissolves by itself? Sound appears and dissolves by itself. Mental images appear and dissolve by itself. Emotions likewise appear and dissolve by themselves. Does it need to do anything? Can we see this truth that nothing needs to be done? Just observe that nothing is us. It's nature's working process that functions, ripples and dissolves naturally. See that sound, mental images, emotions, knowing conditions are just something appearing according to causes and conditions, and finally dissolving when causes and conditions end. No one owns them. Nothing needs to be done. Just see and understand that if this knowing knows by itself, where are we? This speaking, this thinking isn't us thinking. Then where are we? And if these current emotions aren't our emotions, this current happiness isn't our happiness, then where are we? Observe carefully. When we understand that all this is nature's conditions for use in this world, tools of the mind, of life element. The life element has no form, it's clear, extremely pure. We are a nature without form, beyond all conditioning, transcending conditioning. This is called emptiness, but it's an element, a pure, clear element, an element that merges with the entire universe. Like the empty clarity in front of us, untouchable, this empty clarity in front of us, hands can't grasp it. This clarity is exactly what we are. Air dwells in this clarity. Air may move as tornado winds, become cold air, hot air. These things may change and fluctuate however they may, but the clarity knows nothing of it. The clarity isn't involved. All things dwell in this empty clarity. There may be explosions when we throw atomic bombs destroying everything completely. Try destroying this empty clarity. However violently it explodes, all these things dwell in empty clarity, and the empty clarity isn't involved at all. Empty clarity never comes or goes. Throw an atomic bomb into the air. Boom! Air moves at high speed, destroying everything, right? But empty clarity never comes or goes, isn't dark, isn't bright, isn't involved with any conditions at all. That's what we are. Mind, life element that is empty, clear, and pure. That's why I say this body isn't our body. Life element temporarily inhabits it. This voice, mental images, emotions, knowing conditions aren't ours either. They're just tools for use in realizing that we are empty, clear, pure life elements. This is virtual reality. It's like this. It's like we're in virtual reality, but it's not real. We say we're really talking, right? But it's not real. We were never really born in this world. There's only this voice speaking, but no one owns this voice. Can you see this? Whoever sees that voice isn't voice. Whenever they see it's just something, this voice, and no one is speaking, no one owns this thing, and no one is listening. There's only nature rippling. The rippling condition is a condition of life element rippling around the surface of life element. It's like when I realize this point, we merge as one with the entire universe, you know? It all becomes one, and there's no time, no distance either, no coming or going at all. Suppose we think of going to the moon. Think, bang. It's not that we think of the moon and go faster than light to reach the moon. We think of the moon, and the moon is right here with us. There's no distance and no time. Everything we think appears to be known right here, without us having to go anywhere. Because everything exists within the life element completely. That is, absolutely everything, whether energy, matter, galaxies, universe, dwells in empty, clear purity. Wherever it may be, whatever corner, it exists in empty, clear purity. It doesn't need to travel. It just determines, and it's right here. Understand? Nature shows truth appearing for life elements to know constantly that it's not us, not ours at all. This body isn't our body. Soon it will age, get sick, die. There are many people's bodies that have died. Do we see this truth? Animals die every day. Do we see their bodies dying every day? Our bodies will die too. It doesn't last long in this body. I'm pointing out the truth to you that we have the opportunity to inhabit this body. It's already very fortunate. Hurry to understand your own life element. Don't let days and nights pass uselessly. Turn to know yourself. This life element is like this. It's like we take drops of water from the ocean, one drop each, one drop, taken from the ocean and put into bodies. This body then comes to life. Like the life element is a tiny clear water drop. When this tiny clear water drop comes to be in the body comes to life. Then one day when we begin to observe and contemplate against the current, it knows inside that this voice speaking inside, who is it? Why is it thinking this and that all the time? Let's try observing it, and we'll see that the voice speaking in the mind isn't us. It thinks by itself, constantly. It follows what it has memorized, just thinking and thinking. If we can see that these thoughts thinking aren't our thoughts, it's one kind of nature. Mental images that imagine, as soon as we think, bang, images appear too. Because try thinking we'll make spicy fish soup. Imagine the image that will make spicy fish soup. Make it really spicy. Fish soup with eggs too. Make fish soup with lots of eggplant, really sour. Make it really spicy in a big pot, eating together with family. Thick fish meat, firm meat. See? See the image? Let's try imagining riding horses. There happens to be a stable. They let all of us ride horses for free. There are about 20 horses. We say let's ride for free. Let's practice riding horses. Today is the period they're open for everyone to practice riding horses free for 1 week. This period it's open for free riding. We imagine going horse riding, taking children horse riding. Being on horseback would be fun, riding on horseback. This voice that we think like this, do we see the images it imagines along with it? Images appear every time we think. There will always be images. Emotions follow too. Pleasant emotions arise. Oh, how nice to ride horses. This is really good. Do we see? Do we see these natures working by themselves? Every time thinking happens, there will be images. then emotions appear following, then these images disappear. Every time we think of something new, new images appear. While we're thinking of this, right now, we've forgotten what our name and surname are. Right now, we've forgotten we have parents, right? Right now, we've forgotten we're in Thailand. There are only images. Every time we think of something, images arise, and we're right there. Suppose we try imagining going to the market, going to the fresh market, entering the fresh market, going to see what's being sold there now, entering the market. While we're looking at everything in the market, right now, we've forgotten we have parents. We've also forgotten what our parents' names are. We've forgotten this is Thailand too. We've forgotten what province we're in too. We've forgotten our own name and surname too. The nature of thoughts, imagination, emotions. It will function thinking, and images appear, emotions follow along. And we're immersed in this story for a while, then think of a new story. This story has disappeared now. It thinks of new stories. See what I'm saying? What I've been talking about, this story and that story. When we speak of the market, bang, we forget another story. The horse riding story is forgotten now. Images of horse riding and everything have all disappeared now. New images appear. We see the voice, right? The power of our life element, when it flows with voice, flows with images, flows with emotions, it becomes completely absorbed and immersed in these things. Let's try thinking about someone we hate the most. Someone we really hate. Think of them, bang, bad emotions immediately. This person, whenever we see them, we don't want to see their face. Want to hate, want to argue and fight with them and so on. Try imagining, try thinking about their bad qualities. Now let's try thinking about someone we love the most, best the most. Try thinking about their good qualities. Then their image appears, emotions appear following. See? Thoughts, mental images, emotions will appear fluctuating, changing like this. It keeps changing along. Can you see its nature? No one owns it. Whenever you can see this, knowledge will arise. Then where are we? Do we see that hearing these sounds we don't need to intentionally hear? It's already heard. See how right now this sound is already heard, right? And then mental images follow, thoughts follow, following along already, right? See how all these natures work by themselves. When can we see this point that it knows by itself? It thinks, imagines, has emotions by itself. Observe. Suppose we're sitting at home. Someone opens the door loudly, opens the door and closes it with a bang. Can we observe that it hears by itself? If we just observe, they slam the door and we're startled. Do we see it get startled by itself? And it hears by itself? Then it thinks, why close the door so loudly? Do you see this voice speaking here? Emotions appear too. If right now we see these conditions working naturally by themselves, see nature in the moment it happens, bang, we see immediately. No need to want to be aware of it. Whenever it sees is fine. But there will be one moment when it will see by itself. We don't need to want to see. It will see naturally by itself. Listen to my tapes a lot. Our duty is to listen. Just keep listening. Anyone who listens to my tapes not more than 7 days, 7 months, not more than a month really. Don't be foolish for many months. We will shed tears. The more you listen, the lighter it gets, the more spacious. The more you listen, the lighter it gets, the more spacious, the more understanding, 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 understanding. It will get lighter and more spacious, lighter and more spacious continuously. Observe carefully, and we'll start feeling strange. We'll start feeling why we see thoughts all the time. Some people see thoughts all day and night until they can't sleep. It will be strange. Before never saw this. These days seeing constantly. And it's light and spacious, understanding, seeing. Seeing emotions. Seeing happy emotions, seeing suffering emotions, seeing neutral emotions. Seeing whatever it thinks, seeing whatever it imagines. seeing constantly. Very strange, never saw like this before. Seeing constantly. And it's light and spacious and understanding. Keep listening. Listen and listen, understanding getting lighter and spacious, until one day it sees that it knows by itself. When a door slams or food smells impact, it knows by itself that it smells by itself. Then where are we? Understanding arises, ping, that it's not us knowing, not us thinking, not us imagining, not us having emotions. Nothing is us at all. Knowledge arises, ping, that it knows by itself, and then it's liberated. During the time natural knowledge arises, knowing nature, understanding arises that there is no self here, and it breaks free. It's like the knowledge we've known our whole life, that we understood we were human, has completely collapsed and exploded away. It's like we've been inhabiting a robot, and suddenly this robot's computer data that had recorded life stories the whole time completely exploded into pieces. And knowledge arises. Why is this so pure? There's no self, no body, no thoughts or imaginings, emotions or knowing conditions. There's only extreme purity, and it's empty of all conditioning. We aren't here, but we are it. It's nature's life, that is, it has life. We are the life element, but there's no self in it. It has no form, nothing indicating there's a self. But it is us, and it merges with the entire universe. It knows by its own nature, and it's very great, beyond all conditioning. It's extremely pure. It's the ultimate of ultimate. When we reach it, we will shed tears. We will be utterly amazed. This is the one thing we were born for, inhabiting bodies, changing bodies countless times, to know this pure life element. This is the method. The life element has no form, right? For us to know what we are, we must find a body, right? Because we have no form, right? We must find a body first. When we get a body, we must inhabit this body. It must think, use language too. Without language, we can't understand the life element, right? We won't be able to understand ourselves at all if we don't find the best vessel. We've been many kinds of animals, no way for us to know the life element, only humans can. We're fortunate to inhabit human bodies, and evolution has reached the point where those who have realized the life element can tell us. We listen to sages who have realized the life element, and we follow along. We've long used this voice, mental images, emotions, perceptions in this world, right? But once we hear about the life element, now we must return everything. We must start seeing the truth that this body isn't us, because we've been attached to it as our body, right? We temporarily inhabit it. Now step back, just step back. From now on, step back. Step back to see that this speaking voice isn't our voice. Mental images that arise aren't our mental images. It works by itself. Emotions work by themselves too, not our emotions. Don't be foolish with emotions. If it suffers, leave it alone. Don't get involved with it. If it's happy, leave it be. Don't get involved with it. Just see it. When it's happy, see that it's happy, then disappears. When it suffers, see that it suffers, then disappears. Whatever it thinks, see that it thinks that way, leave it, and it disappears. Whatever it imagines, leave it. Soon it disappears. Whatever it knows, know that it's knowing by itself. Whenever we see nothing is us, the life element will retract back. It won't attach to these things anymore. When it doesn't attach to body, doesn't attach to thoughts, emotions, knowing conditions, when it retracts back, bang, it will know why this is so clear, so pure. Then realization arises that we aren't human. We were never born in this world. What have we been deluded about? Time to wake up, like someone waking from virtual reality. Once awakened, oh, tears flowing, crying. It will cry. It will be very amazing. Some people are filled with wonder for a week. It's so light and spacious and amazing. But don't be attached thinking you're a god. Don't think you're some kind of super being, understand? We aren't anything. We are pure, clear elements that aren't anything at all. In this purity, there is no self here. Understand this. In this purity, there's no self at all. There's only extremely pure life. Very great. That's all. And please share my tapes for everyone to hear. I have one goal: to enable children, elderly, disabled, women, men, all genders, all ages, all classes, all statuses, all beliefs, all religions, all nationalities, all races, for everyone on this earth to hear. Please share my tapes for them all to hear. Then everyone will be free from suffering. Everyone won't be reborn again. This will be the last life for all of us. When we know nothing is us, we won't struggle to harm and destroy each other anymore. No need to fight over land because land belongs to this world. No need to fight over material elements because everything belongs to this world. And peace will arise for this world because there is no self at all. But we compete and destroy each other these days because there's only self, mine, wanting lots to be ours. For what? To age, get sick and die? Then start being born again to be deluded again like this. Time to wake up, everyone. If we see the life element, win this game, everyone. Win this game, reach the life element. Whoever has reached it, we will understand everything ourselves. We will know everything. Like when we eat until full, we'll know ourselves that we're full. We'll know ourselves. We'll be free of all doubts. We'll pity people in this world. What are they seeking? What are they deluded about? Like this, tears flowing. Time is appropriate. Let me end here. May everyone realize this truth, reach this pure, clear life element quickly and immediately, everyone.